Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, the #1 sports information program in America, the Breakfast Bankroll, with your host, the sports broker, Jeff Dawson.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your Breakfast Bankroll for Thursday, April 20th, 2023. Our weekly trip to Sarasota FLA, good friend and colleague, Mr. John Murges. We will reconnect. We took a couple of weeks off due to life gets busy. And there's always time for a podcast. But when life gets busy, the life comes first. And today we're blessed to be able to come on and talk what's going on in the world of sports, whether it's MLB, whether it's, well, his Tampa Bay Rays, just like Scotty Webb's. I mean, is there a better team in the planet right now? No, there's not. NHL, his Tampa Bay Lightning. 1-0 and huge dogs tonight. You can go run to the window right now at Circa. And if you do, tell Jeffrey Benson, Mr. Metcalf, Derek Stevens, we said hello. You can go get those Lightning at plus 144 right now. Or we're going to talk some NBA as LeBron and the Lakers lose now 1-1 without Ja, which was a good thing. But anyways, enough from me. Let's bring in the star of the show, the one and only, Mr. John Murges.
The star of the show. Man, I'm getting bigger and bigger every week, Jeff.
Well, hey,
like
we'll get you your star on the Vegas Strip before you know it. How's that?
And one of those trailers, that they use in the movies, like my own trailer, I can, have like because I could use a makeup artist. A barber to trim my, I try to look good when I appear in your show. As you notice, I shave, trim the goat a little bit. It's really, it's a process, just to prepare to be on ECSI. It's definitely some work, but I'm willing to put the work in, as I am with my sports investments, which I have to say went 4-0 yesterday to all my wonderful subscribers, good people who are just trying to make a few dollars or make a lot of money. No, realistically, I try to keep everybody in line. We're here to invest like you guys do. We're here to pick our games surgically and win some money along the way. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fine. Shout out to Connor. Good morning. Connor says, "What's up, John?"
Connor, what's happening, my man?
It is a tough time of year. I left here yesterday. I think I put in about 14 hours from start to finish. When you're going through all three sports, the MLB big day package yesterday, and then come back with the night package. You got the NHL, you got the NBA, and then while everyone's enjoying the games and checking their wagers, how they're doing, our ECSI went 3-1 yesterday. Our only loss again, and they're on our shit list right now, was the Guardians team total. Again, stuck on stupid. They got stuck on 3 there. Came back with the Phillies team total, got that early. I had the Grizz last night at a pick'em, and then we had Oilers minus a half goal first period, plus 130, and we take care of that one 2-0. But trying to get into certain games is obviously the hardest part. How do you get into a minus 200 without laying the wood, and especially in hockey, John, like Carolina last night. How do you get into Carolina? Well, if you tried to get cute and say regulation, well, you got egg on your face because it went to overtime. If you thought it was going to be another 3-2 game, well, that ticket was a beer coaster by the middle of the third there. So how are you handling all this sports, all this action on a daily basis?
Very carefully, my friend, because you come into baseball season after going through the NCAA tournament, which admittedly wasn't great for me this year, surprisingly enough. Last year was good, this year was bad. But then you have to transition into baseball, and while you're working on baseball, you have to remember, hey man, I'm gonna be playing some NHL and NBA playoffs. So you've got to keep your, eye on that. This is a very difficult year. I mean, time of year where you have this, three sports going. I mean, I love the NBA playoffs as you do. I love the NHL playoffs, but these books, they're getting sharper. I mean, laying that number of I should say Toronto laying, 175. I'm looking at 170. It's kind of tough, I mean, everybody expects Toronto to come back at home and win tonight. That's what they expect. Will it happen? Tampa Bay looked like they could, stay with the Maple Leafs. You and I were talking before the show. Stamkos, Vasilevsky, Kucherov. These guys are all getting older. And everybody expected Toronto to be able to outskate them, play at a faster pace. But you have to take into consideration Tampa Bay's playoff experience. Um, and these guys have become leaders for the younger guys to look up to, follow. So it's a difficult time to handicap sports. I have to dedicate a few hours to baseball, a couple hours to hockey, a couple hours to NBA. Um, and it's about 8 hours of work. A lot of times I do it the night before, anticipating making my line, anticipating when the lines come out, what it's going to be the next day. So I get some of my work done the night before. That said, it's still difficult. As you know, I mean, if anybody knows, well, this is not something we don't guess at this stuff. If I come out and say, I'm not making any bets today, there's a reason for that because I'm looking at tomorrow's games. And I'm not, we're investing here. We're not sitting here throwing out games here. Play this, play this, play this, play this. There's no 10 games coming out of you and I. 3, 4 games, it's about max. I like to keep it at 3, sometimes 2, because as you are, we're giving people advice based on our opinion. We also have to take into consideration that they're investing their money in our advice. And I'm not out to play games with people's money, and neither are you. We want to come out at the end of the year with a positive ROI. That's our goal.
Mr. Beach Bum, Mr. Shady says, tremendous day yesterday, John. Congrats on the new addition to the team and bullseye. And he's spot on.
Hey,
And like yesterday, I'm the guy that gives out 1 to 3 games a day. I'm the guy that takes days off. We're the guy, again, in the fall on a Saturday when there's 150 college football games, we might send out 2 or 3 alerts, 1 game here, 2 here, maybe 1 on the late one. And this time of year, with day baseball, for instance, or travel day baseball, then you got the playoffs going on. We do a lot of futures. We do a lot of series plays. And yesterday we played 2 day baseball games. We split. Then we came back with 1 NBA, 1 NHL, and went 2-0. So you gotta how we manage the games and our bankroll. It's almost like managing the board at the same time. You're like, shit. I think we had 1 game going off at 1, another game going off at 2, and my hair looks like Don King, my head spinning like Carrie, and then next thing you know, we land on the Grizz, and then we land on Edmonton first period. But it just never ends. Again, I'm already, I had a show yesterday at 6:00 with Brady Cannon breaking down the Zurich Classic. And then I still got to get tomorrow's numbers all in line. So when we came in here this morning at 7:30, I had 3 hours to get to work before you and I came on live.
Now, first of all, let me give a shout out to our friend Shady. What a good guy. When you're looking for a guy that knows UFC, I mean, he's the man. Second of all, I got to thank him for the well wishes on my brand new little grandson, Camden. They named him. No middle name John with this one, but we'll call him Cam. And he came out a healthy 9 pounds 4 ounces. Big boy. But going back to Shady, I saw a tweet he put out yesterday about his Oakland A's, and it kind of hit me that here's a team, the Oakland A's, totally non-competitive, a minor league team, brings up their top prospect. Kid pitches all right for a couple innings. Cubs end up scoring 12 runs on him. Now Oakland's talking about, I guess they purchased some property. Maybe you saw it this morning in Vegas. Some people said they should change their name from the A's. There's a lot of things, but I feel bad, for Shady being an A's fan, Raiders fan. He's gone through the ringer with those teams, and I can just, the Oakland A's at one time when Charlie Finley owned them, and you remember, Catfish Hunter and Reggie Jackson and just, Sal Bando, just the great A's teams of the 7. You and I remember those great A's teams. Shady's a lot younger than us, but the A's were feared. They were coming to your town to play, and they were coming for blood. And now this team is just a shell of what a major league team is. And it's sad to see, Jeff. Thanks, Shady.
As you would go reminiscent, I was doing the same thing. Vita Blue, Joe Rudy, and those A's teams back then were phenomenal. Then you take it up a notch. The Dave Stewart days, the Ricky Henderson days, the Carney Lansford days. I do feel for them. And when you have a team that's been a part of your life for so long, and then they just pack up and leave, you almost feel abandoned. I get it. They're only going over to Vegas. I get all that, but that was your team. And now you're sharing them with someone else. It is tough. And they were talking about it on VSiN this morning about the records now, where I think they're comparing them. I think it was to the 88 Orioles for the run differential in the first 20 games, and just how bad they are right now. And the sad thing about this, John, is they still got 140 games to go. It's only going to get worse.
It's going to get worse. You know what? Look at how the Raiders deserted these people of Oakland. I have a feeling about Oakland. Oakland's a great city in California. It's filled with people that are good people, hardworking people. Nothing wrong with San Francisco. No slight towards San Francisco. It's more of a banking, white collar area. Oakland is a tough blue collar city, and this is what their escape was. They're passionate about their Raiders. They were passionate about their Oakland A's, and to see the city not have a professional franchise play there, it's sad. It's sad. It's not right. I was amazed that there was 12,400 in attendance yesterday. 8,000 of them were probably Cubs fans. When you looked into the crowd, I did watch the game, but it's like you said, everybody wants to go to Vegas. Everybody's chasing that almighty dollar. The purity of the game has left us. It's just greed, pure greed. And that's one thing. I don't like greedy people. I don't like greedy organizations. I don't like greedy corporations. And I'm sure you feel the same way. I always said greed kills. And it's killing the people of Oakland. Yeah.
As Shady's talking about, no home field advantage. It's funny. We usually spend 2 to 3 weeks in Vegas in March for March Madness. Some friends and colleagues of mine do some high stakes fantasy baseball drafts at the Bellagio, and then the start of the baseball season. But if you don't have to look at the NHL calendar. You can just walk the strip and you'll see 100 people with the Devils hockey jerseys on. Then you obviously know the Devils are in town. And he was talking about the same thing for football. You know, people now plan their vacations around if their football team is playing at Allegiant football stadium against the Raiders. And so now bringing in a baseball team, $1.5 billion stadium they want to build or something like that, never mind the cost of the land. Obviously, will have to be a dome stadium because you're not playing baseball in Vegas in July at 115 out without a dome. So it is sad. Greed kills. I was just watching, Wall Street. That was on late night the other night, and I was just thinking of that Bud Fox and those guys. So it sucks, especially in our games and our lanes. And Mr. Shady, I feel for you. I really, really do. So talk some day baseball today. A short slate. My Red Sox are playing. And I think there was one on the docket here. I have at 135 Minnesota and the Red Sox. My number is Sox minus 120 with a 9. Right now it's circa 115 with a 9 juiced over minus 15 cents. And at 4 o'clock, the Angels versus the Yankees. Yankees, my number 155, right now 150. And a few night games. Is there any baseball games that have caught your eye today?
Well, you look at Maeda versus Hawk today. This kid's got, the kid pitching for the Twins. Maeda's got 12 strikeouts, no walks. Unfortunately, he's got a high ERA, but as far as the number I see right now, that total of 9, that's juiced to 117. The Red Sox are due for a win, and with Hawk pitching, they probably could get it. They average a run a game more, but then again, they average 2 runs a game given up more. So it's a hard game to handicap. Minnesota's on a roll right now. I'm not going to bet the game. If I were, I'd have to take Minnesota today. I'm just not impressed with the Red Sox at this point, but that's who I would play. I would play Minnesota at a slight dog. And there's a reason they're a slight dog, I won't play any game over 1. I refuse to play any straight bet over 145, 147. I put it right about there. Anything over 150, I'm laying off because there's too much to choose from. It's Getaway Thursday, which usually is filled with games. But today we only have 2. You look at that second game, Yankees 157. I have as a number right now against the Angels. What you see the plays that Judge made last night? Unbelievable. The guy's a stud. There's no doubt about it. But when it comes to that game, I do like the Yankees. Unfortunately, excuse me, too much juice for me to bet them, and I don't feel comfortable taking the run line. So today I won't bet any afternoon games. I'm more interested in these NBA games tonight, the NHL. I might throw a few bucks on the Lightning again. Everybody's going to be on Toronto. Don't you agree?
Well, we'll transition to the frozen pond. Again, the overnight number is 155. Right now it's circa, it's 158. You can get the Lightning plus 144, a 6 over minus 15 cents. The Devils overnight minus 130, now minus 128 against the Rangers. The Knights overnight minus 147. There's another team they're betting on the come, now minus 158 at circa against the Jets. And Colorado's overnight number 200, only one way that can go, minus 216 with a 5.5 over minus 25 cents. 2 days ago, the road teams were 4-0. I guess Vegas, for the most part, other than the Rangers and Devils, think that the home teams are going to bounce back tonight.
I like the way you look up. You have one of the like a sports book. You have one of the boards up in front of you right there because I got to get one. You're looking, like I'm at Circa. All right, yeah. You're juiced to 140. I love that.
I have
I'm looking down at my phone and you're looking up.
I have two huge circular screens, one to the left, one to the right, and then I have the one in the middle. So yes, my odds page is to the left, and if I need team totals, it's to the right.
Oh, I'm gonna get it set up like that. So no more goofing around. No, but seriously, the only reason I transitioned is because our good friend Scott Webb, I'm meeting him for lunch today, and
Okay.
we will talk Major League Baseball because I found that your friend is very good, and with his how do we want to call it, system. His system of handicapping baseball is something that this sponge in my brain soaked up because I like what I saw. And he's a good guy. He shared it with me. He says, "Here's how I do it." You'll have to excuse us. Both we're 2,000 miles away from each other, and we both have the same symptoms of sick. I don't know. It's this microphone. What's how we're getting sick, but this is the truth. But we're still good to go on. But yeah, we transitioned into hockey only for the reason that I'm going to be smart and see what Webby likes tonight and make some money that way. Not take his picks, but I like to hear his reasoning. And but seriously, I like the over in that Toronto Tampa Bay game. Toronto's going to come out firing. I'm not sure. I don't have it in front of me. The shots on goal that Toronto had on the Tuesday night, but they came down. See, there's some money. If you look, they came down a little bit. As far as favorites, I had them at this morning early at 175. I'm looking at where I can get my bets in down to Toronto 165. But then again, there's money coming in on Tampa Bay, and I knew there would be. Last year we were talking about it before the show about teams winning at home, losing on the road. And we have maybe a reverse situation happening. As long as we're talking about hockey, Devils Rangers tonight. That Rangers picked up that first game, and I think they're the better team actually.
Yeah.
I really do. I think the Rangers are not much better, but the better team. And here they are, dogs again tonight. Everybody's expecting, and Jeff, as you realize, the first thing they do in that war room when they're coming out with these lines and they're deciding, what's going to happen. It's not some computer doing it. It's guys talking. What do you think? Where's the public going? Where is the average bettor thinking about betting? It's the first thing they talk about. And then they go through the numbers. They look at past history, everything else, things that we look at. But in that game, I have a total of 5.5 right now. And I don't see a real defensive battle, but I could see that game going over 5.5 goals easily. Seattle, Colorado, see that game going under, giving everything away right now. And Winnipeg, Vegas, I got that game at 5.5. Vegas is going to come out firing. I can see Vegas scoring 4 goals themselves tonight. I really can. Play good. They play pretty well at home. I don't have the splits on it, but they play pretty well at home. I don't know how you feel about that, but I just gave away 4 hockey picks.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I again, we have a vested interest in the Leafs. We have not so much in the rest. I left the Jets series on the desk. We got into the Wild versus the Dallas in that series. Left the Jets off the table there. Nice bounce back by Edmonton, obviously, last night. Everyone's sitting on pins and needles. I mean, Yeah. Are they going to blow another 2-goal lead like they did in game one? But Connor and company said not so fast. And again, I talked about it early, but Edmonton right now overnight was minus 150 for tomorrow at the Kings, now 154. Here's the shocker. I want to talk to you about this because I believe I am 100% all in on trusting and respecting the true overnight and opening number. And then what happens is the shops hit it behind closed doors. You guys talk in the risk room. All right, where are we going to go with this number? The shops are here. So let's move this number here because we know which way the public's going to take this number. Uh, uh, the overnight number was Dallas minus 117. Now, game one, Dallas was minus 140. They lose. Game two, they were minus 150. They win. Are you surprised with the overnight number of Dallas minus 117? Game three now in Minnesota. You were back in the war room for 20 years in Chicago. Would you have opened it minus 117?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't think so. These guys are so much sharper than we were. You have to remember, although we're professionals, and though we were doing it in the darkness. That's the term I'll use. And we get the number out of Vegas. We kind of have a feeling which way our players play. You have to remember, back in the day, Jeff, hockey wasn't as bet as it is now. And so, but that is surprising. That shows you right there that right away the sharks start pounding, and now it's reversed. It's reversed. It's Minnesota favored. Um, and when that happens, you know what we like to do? We like to just, hey, we'll stick with Dallas. Um, it's too much of a movement for my comfort. Minnesota's at home. They play well at home. There's no doubt Dallas is a good team, but it is surprising that number opened up at plus 117. It's they know something.
Yeah, well, that's my whole point. I like to explain this to our clientele. When a number like Dallas opens up minus 117 at Minnesota,
Right.
there's only one way that number can go, and then that's to flip to Minnesota. They're not running to the window to bet Dallas minus 117, minus 120, 125. They're going to come on the other side. You're trying to tell me Minnesota won game one in Dallas, guys, and then they got, they switched goalies, they whatever it is, they got their ass handed to them last night. We all know that. And then the guys behind the desk say, all right, how much do you like the Wild this time? And they got, go get him as a dog. They're like, no rush. No, we'll open another line. Come on over here. Don't
Oh
worry.
yeah.
We got you. We got you.
Well, they automatically think, boom, the home team. It's everybody puts a lot of faith into home team, especially come playoff time. You have the crowd behind them. Listen, the crowd's got nothing to do with it. The crowd's not on the ice. They're not on the court. They're not on the field. The crowd's in the stands. It's up to the players to play. Some guys thrive. I've heard some, pro athletes talk about they thrive on the road because they love the booze. They love, they know that it's the crowd against them. But that's a surprising game. Just got a note from my producer over here. Yes, that was the answer. Um, but surprisingly enough, we haven't talked about your Boston Bruins, and that's another team. I have them in the series. Now, I thought Boston would take care of Florida. Now we're in a danger zone because here's where a team will have some home ice advantage. The Florida Panthers will. Um, even though Boston was great on the road this year, the Panthers turn into a different team in the playoffs, and that's what concerns me. Only because I've got a nice size bet on the Boston series price. Um, I thought they would take both games at home. Well, that didn't happen, so that concerns me. Um, and a 6-3 loss, Jeff, it's kind of unbelievable. You lit up 6 goals in Boston. Um, Maybe they took it for granted, but we'll have to see.
They opened up 153. You could get the Panthers plus 133 right now at Circa. It's 154. Again,
Hmm.
Carolina opened up minus 112 against the Islanders. That too was flipped to the Islanders minus 113. And of course, Edmonton opened up 150, now 154 all tomorrow. Let's skip on onward before we let everyone go today. 3 games tonight. Philly at Brooklyn. The opening number was 4.5, still 4.5 with a 209.5. Golden State, true number 6.5. Draymond out at Circa right now, 5.5 with a 240. And the Suns opened up 2.5 at the clip joint, now 3 with a 226 and a hook. Anything look appeasing to you tonight?
Boy, they're begging you to bet the Clippers plus the 2.5. That's for sure. There's a
Mm-hmm.
reason they're asking you to come on, bet the Clippers. They're getting 2.5 points. I'll take the Suns. That's the way. I mean, when I quickly do, and I don't quickly handicap, but when I just, as you do, you look at it right away and you say, take the Clippers plus the points at home. Not that I'm going to do that. But yeah, that interests me. Tied 1-1. Um, I do lean the Sixers. Even though they're on the road, 4.5 points for a team that has the size. When you look at these two teams, Brooklyn and the Sixers, the Sixers have that size. Um, it's James Harden. If this guy gets hot and he starts shooting that three from what I call the LeBron spot, LeBron likes to go a little bit half court and then shoot the three and hit them. James Harden the other night was hitting threes like crazy. As my grandson says, he's a beast, in a good way. But I do like the Sixers right now, as of this time, 11, 50 in the morning, East Coast. Yeah, I do like the Sixers, and I do like the Clippers. We'll have to see.
Well, I know this. I know you have lunch reservations with my good friend Scott. We did a show. What's today? Thursday, Tuesday night. We talked for about 45 minutes. Shady talked about the tremendous information that Scott gives out, and it's kind of funny, John. Is that me and Scott have been linked. Let me see. I've been doing this 8.5 years. I want to say he's been with us for about 7 years, and he does it his way. I Sabermetrics, the Webby odds. He's got more initials and abbreviations than a Webster dictionary. I mean, he's got them all. And when both of us are on the same side, now I come in from a whole different reading the market, reading the numbers, and he comes in with his way. When we're both on the same side, it's like at a 82.9 clip rate that we hit the game. But just to listen to him, and we can talk for hours, and just talking about one or two games, and he's breaking down this and that. So obviously, I want you to get yourself all rested up and ready for that. As we're back on our Thursday 10:30 schedule. The crawler's been going the whole time, John. Obviously, on Twitter, everyone can follow you at Murges John. But as we always do, I like to close with the star of the show. Tell them where they can get your information, where to follow, where to listen. Packages still available. I don't know if the door's been closed, but you're the boss. Take it away.
Yeah, you can find me, like you said, on Twitter's my choice of social media. No Facebook, no Instagram, just Twitter. At Murges John. I tweet a lot of stuff. I retweet a lot of guys that I respect, such as yourself, and Ralph Michaels, people like that I really respect. And yeah, I'll take subscribers. I gave everybody 2 years for a fair price. Got about almost 100 subscribers. I'll gladly take on a few more, but eventually, I think at the end of April, because people can call me on my private Twitter site. There's a phone number on there. You got a problem, you got a question, I'm available. I'm always willing to talk to people, text, however they want. I like to be accessible. And so I have to keep it to a limit. I can't talk to 300 people if needed. So And the big question is, hey, listen, if you're so good at betting, how come you take a subscribers? Well, my subscriber number is limited, and we're both good at handicapping, and that's what we do. We've done it all these years. We have experience. And so that's I appreciate that, Jeff. But a shout out to everybody that follows me on Twitter, everybody I follow. Shout out to you, Jeff. You do a great job. And I'll definitely give Scott your best regards and soak up some information on some baseball games tonight and this weekend. I've got a plan, my friend.
To all John's followers, if you're not following me, please follow me at EC Sports Invest. I promise I'll follow you back, like Mr. Shady and Connor and a few others that have followed me. I have followed them back. My door is to open as well. If you're not following us on YouTube, just jump over to East Coast Sports Investor. Subscribe. It's free. Turn on the notifications. You'll never miss a show. We usually do 1 to 3 shows a day. And obviously on Thursdays at 10:30, God willing. And life not getting busy, myself and John are always here. And shout out again to everyone that was here this morning. Mr. Beach Bum, go get some sun. Enjoy some day baseball. But it was always fun talking early in the AM with you, John. Tell Mr. Webb I said hello, and enjoy lunch and a few suds and a few baseball games. How's that?
Absolutely, my friend. Thank you so much. And life, like you said, life gets busy, but slow down a little bit. So I'll see you next Thursday, same time, same station.
From the one, the only Mr. John Murges, at Murges John on Twitter, myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest. We wish everyone a blessed day. Have some fun out there. We got day baseball, evening baseball, NBA, NHL playoffs. Go do you. Have some fun, and we'll see you soon.